Okay, so we look at They Are Billions at 21 by 9. Every so often your favourite games list gets shaken up with a new title, and damn, mine absolutely got shaken up big time with this. They Are Billions is bloody brilliant. It's extremely hard, like if you want to make the old classic comparison, it's Dark Souls difficult. It doesn't give you any room for mistakes. It gives you variety and freedom to do as you please with only a single requirement: survive the giant hordes of zombies. It feels like Age of Empires with an addictive twist that, as much as I'm raging on it constantly, I can't stop returning to it. It's so good. Anyway, first, the ultra-wide support. I'm pleased to say, natively the game essentially works perfectly. Gameplay correctly shows off more on the sides of the screen at all moments, regardless of your zoom level. The HUD locks to 16 by 9, which is perfect. For example, Age of Empires 3 stretched the HUD across the entire screen, and it didn't work well as you're having to pull your mouse all over the place, which is far less convenient. The main menu is 16 by 9 with black bars, and the in-game menus are basically just black backgrounds with the menu elements shifting to the right edge. Finally, loading screens are 16 by 9 with black bars. These last three are things that I would like fixed in the final version of the game, but realistically, you're really never in the menus, so thankfully you're not going to be dealing with black bars for long. General PC support wise, there were only two minor issues I ran into, and I'm sure they'll be ironed out before the full release. Firstly, there was some bad English in some descriptions, but it was hardly an issue, and the other problem was the sound sliders in the menus do nothing. They don't affect the game audio levels at all. I had to lower the game audio from Windows instead, as I like to play with music in the background and only a low level of game audio audible. Performance-wise, it isn't hugely challenging to run for the most part. However, bring on the hordes of zombies at the end of the time limit, and wow, performance tanks. It's no exact surprise. I mean, there's an insane number of zombies swarming the screen at once, so your CPU and GPU are both going to be straining hard to process it all. I'm running on the higher settings at 3440 by 1440 on a GTX 1080 Ti, and whilst throughout the game I can easily stay locked to my 95 FPS screen max, in the heat of a battle things drop to the 30s. It is quite the performance dip. I can't bash it though, because wow, it is awesome to see such crazy numbers of enemies, and this was only on a relatively easy setting on the first map. As you progress through the game, I'm sure things will get even more intense, and so performance will take an even greater hit. Now, there are some graphic settings you can change to help deal with these moments, and they do have a noticeable effect, so if you really are taking a beating in these end moments, maybe just drop the settings down temporarily during the final fight so you can just watch it with less of an issue. Now, gameplay-wise, it's in many ways a sort of tower defense game mixed with Age of Empires. So in AoE, you're used to starting with your town center, which in this case is your command center, and you started with a few resources, villages, and just must build an economy and military to attack and kill off your enemies. Here, however, the aim is instead really focused on defense. You need to become an impenetrable fortress. There aren't any other people for you to go and kill. Instead, the map is covered in just wandering hordes of AI zombies that you need to kill off in order to expand your base into new areas as you grow, but you're really working up to be ready to hunker down and fight off the final extreme onslaught of zombies that comes once your number of days runs out. The number of days varies depending on a difficulty level, so it could be 100 or 80 or 120. You choose how long you want before you get attacked. Obviously, your potential score varies on the difficulty you choose. Now, the variations to something like AoE come in a few places. Firstly, there are no villages. Instead, you build, say, a lumber mill that will indefinitely collect wood. The amount of wood it collects depends on your placement, so if you select the lumber mill to place and hover over squares on the map, you'll see the amount of wood it will collect if you were to place it there. Placing the building will mean it stays collecting that resource forever, and you don't need to worry about, say, the wood running out. But that lumber mill does consume energy and workers, so you need to make sure you're producing enough energy to sustain it and have a large enough number of houses in order to have a large enough workforce so you have men to work in the lumber mill. And this theory applies to everything in the game. Everything from buildings to people have both an initial build cost, say gold and wood, but also have a permanent drain cost on your economy, such as power. You can turn a building off temporarily if you like by clicking the pause button on it, and you'll then regain those permanent drain costs such as energy because the building isn't producing anything, and then you can restart it again if you need. And the economy works brilliantly. Everything operates in a very tight-knit circle. If you want to build a market, for example, the market requires gold, wood, energy, workers, and stone. You look at what you're missing, say workers, so you go and build houses, However, you can't build houses yet because you're out of a food supply, so you build a farm. That allows you to build a house, which gives you the people to man the market, and so you can now build the market. The market then in turns lowers the food consumption requirement of surrounding houses, and so you have a greater food supply. It works great. The development of the gameplay is well thought out too, so buildings can all be upgraded in different ways, and you have buildings like banks that have areas of effect on other buildings, so you need to plan out how you structure your cities in order to maximize return on investment. And of course, the whole time you need to be extremely vigilant on keeping your borders safe. You cannot let a single zombie in. I kid you not, a single zombie gets into your base and it's all over. This is because when a zombie takes over a building, it causes the people inside the building to become infected too. This means the zombie can spawn whole hordes of zombies that spawn more zombies as they rip through your base. This means walls are your best friend. Build tons of them and build smartly. Tricks like making sure your base is split into many sections, so if an outbreak hits one section, your whole base doesn't collapse in that moment. Expanding your base is also a very risky time because as you're building, you need to make sure that you're protecting everything whilst it constructs. You first have to build Tesla towers in order to extend the energy range of your base. You can only build where you have power reaching to, and these are completely at risk of zombies as they can't protect themselves, so you'll need to have a little army escort to watch over your new builds. It's really fun though, scouting out new expansion areas and walling it off successfully and filling it in with new buildings. Now, whilst there are a few offensive buildings and a few soldier types to build, this is one area I feel needs a lot of fleshing out. There simply aren't enough types of killing machines. I'd love more variation in long range and close range defensive towers, and lots more unit types. It just means that currently, you sort of just have the same linear-ish path of development every time because there aren't branching routes. It's not like you have different civilizations to play as. I know this is early access and so it will be lacking development in areas, but yeah, this is definitely something I would love to see expanded. The other absolute must feature though is multiplayer. Oh my god, this needs to have at least 2-player co-op. The idea of building a base whilst your friend also builds on the same map and you can cooperate and work as a team to win, it's just an epic idea. I know the development team have already addressed this question on the Steam forums, saying back in June 2017 that they were looking to add multiplayer if the game is successful enough, so yeah, here's hoping others love this as much as I do, because I'd love to see the multiplayer implemented. Oh, there is so much to talk about and so much to discuss on the best strategies. I've not actually looked at others' ideas yet, as I've wanted to struggle through my first experiences with the game alone and just learn it myself. But after a lot, and I mean a lot of retries, I'm really now looking for advice. I literally have only beaten the game once, and that was on a 7% score. I nearly beat the game on a 22% score required to unlock the second map. However, I misjudged the defenses on the north of my base, and it turned out to be the one section that crumbled at the last horde, and so my base fell so unbelievably close to the finish line. So frustrating. I'm also curious to see how you guys choose to diversify your unit types, as I really preferred using towers to do the main killing and defense of my base. I didn't really have many military units. But of course, the issue with that is you can't mobilize your attacking ability to face a threat if it's coming from a different angle that you just didn't prepare for. So yeah, there's just a lot to think about, and that's what I'm loving. There is a slight bit of luck involved for sure, thanks to the random nature of spawning and level design. Sometimes you get lucky and have a relatively safe location with nice choke points to defend, and other times you're in a wide open area with huge hordes close by. So yeah, that can make life harder. All in all though, this gets a 100% recommendation from me. It doesn't really feel like an early access game, and I have high hopes for its future. I'm also giving a WAF score of 3, and really whilst it's not perfect at 21/9, the imperfections are fleeting. So I hope that gives you some information on the game runs at 21/9. Give this video a like if you found it helpful, and subscribe for future info. For another games at 21/9, head over to my channel, the WAF website. Hopefully I've covered it. If I haven't, then leave a comment down below and I'll try and cover it. And if you'd like to support the channel, links to my Patreon page are in the description, and Amazon affiliate links are there too. See you later.
The colony is under attack. Our defenses are being attacked. They are trying to break into the buildings. Our defenses are being attacked. The colony is under attack. The infection is spreading across the colony. Our buildings are being attacked. Our colony is succumbing to the infection. They are trying to break into the buildings. They are trying to break through. The colony is under attack. The walls are under attack. Our buildings are being attacked. They are attacking the colony defenses. They are trying to break into the buildings. Our defenses are being attacked. Our soldiers are in trouble. They are trying to break through.